Today on Monkey Life, a new baby woolly, but it looks like the care team will have to be mum.
It's almost the exception to the rule that you can never get them to take them back again. It does happen sometimes, but really, no.
And it's moving day for the slow Loris.
That was the perfect catch-up. It was a bit slow, but they're slow Loris, so that's kind of expected.
Plus, ring-tailed lemur Al gets to meet some of the gang. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
I think this one's a little boy, and I think that that one over there might be an older lady.
The park provides a home for more than 250 monkeys and apes from 20 different species. It's early morning and the woolly monkey care team have arrived to a bit of a shock. Overnight, young female Isla from Chippy's group has given birth. But the new mum has abandoned her baby. He's discovered lying on the playroom floor.
Got in there, saw that he was still moving, obviously still alive. Isla was fine, she seemed perfectly happy in herself. Obviously wanted to check her over as well. Then our main focus was to clear everybody out so we could get in there and get the little chap out.
With no idea what time Isla gave birth or how long the baby had been lying on the floor, the team acted quickly, scooping up the newborn and wrapping him up to keep warm. After a quick check-over, next on the list was to try and get the baby to take fluids. No one knows why Isla has rejected her baby. She's had a good role model to study in mum Paquita, who recently gave birth to son Cassius. But this is Isla's first baby, and every new woolly mum reacts differently to childbirth. The new arrival is huge, 60 grams heavier than any other woolly the team have had to hand rear.
So I'd say congratulations, but I don't know that this is actually a joyous time.
This isn't Alison's first experience of woolly mums rejecting their babies.
So can I have a look-see? Little boy for sure?
Pretty sure. You can see.
Right. Yeah. Oh, you guys aren't prepared to commit.
Yeah.
She's previously hand-reared 4 others at the park.
Has he made any noises?
Just lots of squawking noises.
Yeah.
Alison checks the infant over.
He's perfect. His hands are wicked strong. Look at, he's already... So he's totally fine. I know, not happy, but fine.
Getting the baby to take on fluids and milk via a small pipette to start with is most important for its survival.
It's just such a struggle.
I just want to get that last drop in and then I'll call it a day and we'll warm your pad and you can go to sleep.
If all goes well in the next 24 hours, the team might try to reintroduce the baby to Isla. She may have calmed down enough following the trauma of giving birth for her maternal instincts to kick in. But Alison isn't optimistic.
Once a female dumps her baby on the floor and walks away, it's almost the exception to the rule that you can never get them to take them back again. It does happen sometimes, but really, no.
The more likely scenario is that the infant will have to be hand-reared by the team at the park for at least 5 months before he can rejoin the group.
It's been a tough day. You're a little bit battered and bruised, little man.
Oh.
And just like any newborn, he will need constant care and attention.
It'll be a long night with frequent feeds, I expect, but you don't know. You know, he's quite well developed. He's got teeth already. He's been born teething. So it might be that he's prepared to take slightly more fluid and then have longer periods of sleep. I'll let him dictate what he's gonna do for now. It's day one and he doesn't have to have any kind of schedule. So we'll wait and see. Is he gonna be a nice baby or a fidgety baby? And yes, that's gonna be for us to work out overnight.
It's been a couple of months since the primate care team in charge of the capuchins carried out a big house swap. Leader Tao was moved from his large enclosure at the capuchin complex to join a smaller group of just 4 girls, previously led by Winslow. Accompanying him was Archie, who, like Tao, has mobility problems. Winslow headed in the opposite direction, taking on Tao's old group and all the flirty females that go with it. Last time he was in charge of a large group, Winslow was ousted by his half-brother, who took over. This is his big chance of being leader of a mixed troop once again.
He's constantly take quite a big knock from sort of when he was forced out of Franco's group, and although he was a bit more confident here, it was a very different setup. He seems to be getting there and re-establishing himself, and he is a lot more like the old Winslow, we know, and he's sort of very busy, and he's always on the move and just sort of keeping an eye out on everything in his group.
Today, Tao's new small gang are getting a tasty treat: frozen banana and custard pine cones with live mealworms. The outside area has been especially adapted to cater for both Tao and Archie's limited mobility, making it easier for them to go where they want. Rachel's making sure that there's plenty to go around for all 6 capuchins, also taking into account their individual preferences.
They're for Archie. Archie likes to be up high, so we've got to make sure that some of them go up there for him.
Archie is first out and, true to form, heads up high to enjoy his in peace. Tao watches Sophia banging her cone in an attempt to dislodge the treat, while Ginger carefully picks out the frozen custard using her fingers. Maggie shows off her agility, but Tao takes the easy option, foraging for worms on the ground. He's accompanied by Sophia, who has a bit of a crush on him.
He definitely has less pressure on him up here. He doesn't have to move around quite so much. He hasn't got to worry about the boys next door as a threat. It's a lot quieter for him. Tao is still struggling with his mobility. It's something we are monitoring regularly and doing everything we can for him. We've obviously kitted the house out, especially for Tao and Archie, with lots of ramps and new low-level slides and just trying to make everything a lot easier for him.
But the 4 girls are loving having Tao as their alpha male. They were with him for a time back at their previous enclosure, but being low rankers, never got a look in. But now they're the only females on the block and are intent on making the most of it.
Sometimes when the females are flirty, they can be a bit full on with him, and he can't quite take the sort of the taps and the pushes and the slaps that Winslow could, and so he's doing all right. But yeah, we're just hoping that being in the sort of smaller area with less pressure and less stress, that he's just not exerting himself quite as much as he was.
And it seems that across the way, Winslow's also having trouble with over-attentive girls. He's lost his tufts thanks to the females tagging him to grab his attention, and then grooming him just a bit too much. It's a bit of a balancing act trying to get the social makeup of these groups just right. But for now, things are looking positive, and everyone seems settled and content. At the park's new Loris complex, it's a big occasion as the 5 new primates from Hong Kong reach the end of their quarantine period. 2 are about to leave for a new home at the Sheldon Wildlife Trust in Devon, while another female, Boo, will be heading back from there to Monkey World to be paired up with one of the Hong Kong males. Sheldon is the smallest zoo in the world and specialises in looking after and breeding a number of endangered species, including red-ruffed lemurs and yellow-breasted capuchins. The zoo has now also set up a breeding programme for slow loris, in collaboration with other centres in Europe.
It's no use anymore just having a breeding population of animals within a zoo or within a number of zoos. We have to work together in many different ways. And so that's where the collaboration with ourselves and Monkey World and a number of other people are so vital in the success of this project. If things are going the way they are now and loris become even more endangered, we're at the risk of losing them forever. So without this population that has a healthy genetic base, we really could see the end of loris from the wild.
The problem is the long-standing black market trade in loris smuggled from the wild to be kept as pets, like all those at Sheldon and Monkey World.
We had our first loris handed in to us many, many years ago, which was Doris. And at the time, we really didn't know very much about their needs. And it was only from having Doris that we began to learn about the needs of loris. And that really has developed over the years, and we've become much more knowledgeable. We've become much more holistic in our approach, working with others. And now it's really taken this long to decide that this is where we need to go with this species and its conservation.
For the last 2 years, Sheldon have been looking after and rehabilitating Boo, a female loris Alison rescued from the Maldives. When Boo was saved, she was in a dreadful state, frightened and malnourished. But since then, she's transformed into a very healthy loris.
She settled in really well when she came. It took her a while to sort of get used to her surroundings. Being in a really small cage for so long in the Maldives didn't really help. I mean, I remember when she first came and she was so dark in her colour, which isn't like a regular slow loris at all. She's got this lovely sort of white kind of creamy texture over her shoulders now, with the sort of distinctive slow loris stripe down her back, so she's come along really well with the right supplements and everything. She's like a proper loris now.
And so it's time for Boo to head back to Monkey World and meet Bruce, her prospective mate. Tina and Marley, another pair from Hong Kong, will travel in the opposite direction. It's always hard to say goodbye to an animal you've grown to love.
Although we'll be sad to see Boo go, it's better for her, and she's a lovely animal, so we're rooting for her to get on with Bruce. So yeah, really exciting time for her.
It's a short journey from Sheldon to Dorset, but for the loris, it could be the start of something big in the future conservation of their species. A few weeks ago, ring-tailed lemur Al was rescued from a home in Somerset and brought to Monkey World in quite a distressed state. He'd been without food for days, and his lemur companion had died. The care team were worried about Al and decided to introduce him to a friend to help him settle. Female lemur Kaya came to join him. He's now being given a clean bill of health and seems more settled. Long term, the aim is for him to live with the whole lemur colony at Malagasy, but that will take time. For now, the team have lined up 3 of the gang from there to meet him. They are dominant female Fennel, dominant male Indiana, and Renton, one of the low rankers. Today, the team are taking Al and Kaya over to Malagasy for Al's first visit to what will, hopefully, become his future home. The introductions will take place in an outdoor but enclosed area, where the staff can easily keep an eye on the lemur's progress.
Lemur intros can be awful if they go wrong. Lemurs have got very, very sharp teeth, and they will bundle, so when one joins in, the others may think they need to back up that one, and you can end up with multiple lemurs attacking one lemur. So they can get a serious injury in seconds. So they are difficult and they are tense, but when it works and you get them all together, then they treat life. That's where they want to be.
To combat any serious possible damage, Karen has a cunning plan.
With lemurs and with a lot of animals, their sense of smell is vital. Prosimians more than some of the larger primates. So what we're trying to do is basically blanket them all in talc so they all have the same scent, so they're not going to necessarily realise there's a newbie in the camp when they smell everybody. But also, it's also kind of a distraction technique. They're going to spend a lot of time trying to get rid of this, so it kind of keeps them busy instead of, again, focusing on the new fella.
With Fennel, Indiana and Renton all talked up, it's time to let the introductions begin. Al and Kaya have been let outside first and are already busy exploring. Kaya seems really happy to be back in her old stomping ground, but Al is understandably more cautious. This is a big deal for him. The team have no knowledge of his past. He may never have had such a big space to move around in before. Karen allows him plenty of time to settle and familiarise himself with his surroundings before meeting the others. Al takes his time sniffing around and scent marking before the team decide to let dominant female Fennel into the mix.
Oh, they're grooming. Kaya and Fennel are okay.
The two females are pleased to see each other, but Al, sensibly, keeps his distance. When Fennel does approach him, Al submissively moves away. So far, so good. Al seems to be following correct lemur etiquette, and Fennel is calm around him. But how will dominant male Indiana react to Al?
Ready? Yeah.
At first, he doesn't even notice him.
Boy, Indy.
But he's not given much chance. He's kept busy trying to avoid Kaya's attentions. She's trying to assert her dominance and is inadvertently distracting Indiana away from Al.
This is not what I expected to happen. It's Kaya. Poor Indiana.
Whatever her strategy, it seems to be working. The introduction goes without incident, and Al is left well alone. Last but not least, low-ranker Renton is let out.
Kaya and Renton have a history of being sometimes a little bit difficult with each other, so obviously she's come in and been quite focused on Indiana, so we're hoping that because she's quite relentless at the moment, potentially adding in Renton would help disperse her attention between the two. The good thing is that no one seems to be focused on Al, which is great. So we'll obviously see what happens.
Renton's in.
Renton has a very close relationship with Fennel, who often acts as his personal bodyguard. With Kaya still more interested in chasing Indiana around, Renton is able to take things easy. Meanwhile, Al is still keeping his head down and generally being pretty cautious around the others. A good technique, it seems.
Al is actually being very clever. He's being submissive to everyone he meets, which is the best way to be. He obviously doesn't know their strengths. He doesn't know where they are in the hierarchy. He doesn't know how many more he's got to meet. He doesn't know anything, really, but he's doing everything right at the moment. So, fingers crossed, massively. Yeah, day by day, it's all we can take it. So far, today's gone well, so it's a good sign.
It's moving day for the park's loris. Nick Dunn from Sheldon Wildlife Trust in Devon has arrived with Boo, a female slow loris the team are hoping will settle down with Bruce, who's staying at the park. But heading back to Sheldon will be established pair Tina and Marley. To prepare for Boo, the team have completely rebranched one of the bedrooms with plenty of shelter and browse. She'll be given time to settle in before being introduced to prospective mate Bruce.
We've put in loads of perching for her so she feels comfortable to move around because, of course, she'll be in a new environment, so it's important that she's comfortable. Also, when I've worked with Boo before, I know that she's loved being in really dense areas. I know at Sheldon Wildlife Trust she likes to hide in a big bush, so what we've done is we've put in quite a lot of browse in there for her so she can hide away as much as she wants.
But first, they need to entice Tina and Marley into their travelling crates for the journey south. Loris are nocturnal animals, so the team are working in the dark with low-level red lighting. Loading slow loris isn't an easy job. For the last few days, the crates have been left in the bedrooms with treats inside for them to get used to. Hopefully, this will speed up the process. Marley doesn't need any encouragement.
Just as we've been preparing to start putting food in the boxes to tempt them in, Marley's gone into a box, so that's brilliant. So we've shut him in, We're just going to cut the box down now and take it out, and then we'll try Tina. Okay. Okay, one down.
Tina, however, demonstrates why they're called slow loris. She takes her time. It's a waiting game for Karen and Hannah, and they resort to a bit of bribery to entice Tina into the box, using live locusts. The temptation proves too much, and with very little drama, she's in.
Marley went into a crate before we even started trying to get him into a crate, which was fabulous. And Tina was a bit slow, but they're slow loris, so that's kind of expected. But yeah, we put a few locusts in there and she tootled away in. Yeah, really good.
Now the two departing loris are safely boxed up, it's time to release Boo into her new home.
Hello, are you ready to come out?
Boo is smaller than the other loris at the park, but a lot healthier than when she was first rescued from the Maldives in a very poor state. The male loris she's going to be paired with, Bruce, is larger, but hopefully not so much that Boo will find him intimidating. For now, he's in a bedroom opposite, while Boo finds her feet in her new surroundings.
Hello, Boo-Belicious.
Hey, Boo-Boo. All right. Okay. Yeah, she's good. She's been exploring everywhere. Wow. And she is bigger than when she left here.
Oh yeah, I think so. She's filled out a lot.
All we can do now is look to the future and hopefully create a lovely pair here. They'll have companionship for the rest of their lives, hopefully, and hopefully they'll get on well. And in the future, if that all goes well, then potentially there'll be some babies. But yeah, it's one step at a time, really. We'll see how well she settles in, and then we'll start the intro slowly. But fingers crossed, everything will go well, and we'll have a nice pair, and they'll have some friends.
And for Tina and Marley, it's a short journey with Nick to their new home in Devon. The culmination of 2 years of joint planning in the fight to protect this unique nocturnal primate from extinction.